KTN News. Get the whole story.
And was dispersed.
Everyone was dispersed.
That was, if I'm not wrong, a day or two before the impeachment. Can you remember the actual date?
I think a day before impeachment.
A day before impeachment.
And that clip is not complete, counsel.
Yes.
I think we've not heard the officer saying as to why he had come to arrest me.
You can tell us because you are present. We may not have the benefit of the full video, but kindly, because it is a first-hand experience, tell us the explanation you got from the officer as to why he was seeking to interrupt your official function.
The officer was the area OCS, and then when people came in big numbers, the other bosses came along, and then he was asked to allow me go, and then he also apologized before everyone that it was a mistaken identity, and I forgave him.
Thank you. You have been accused of vilifying leaders. We have seen WhatsApp messages, you making certain utterances on WhatsApp groups, and even in one or two political rallies through the videos that were produced. Number one, have you vilified the leaders in Meru? Have you in any way vilified, demeaned the leaders in Meru?
I have not vilified any leader in Meru.
There was a particular comment you made on Facebook, on WhatsApp group, regarding the deputy governor. And you said, ujinga sita kubali. What were you talking about?
I was talking about him having or gathering young men, going around demeaning the governor and calling me a prostitute.
Was that a fair reaction, considering what we have seen? Was it expected of any human being to react and defend herself in the wake of such attacks?
Honorable Speaker, I'm not an angel. You must have feelings.
Thank you. Let us go briefly to the responses, and I believe you have answered to all the allegations in your notice, in your response that you first alluded to. You have answered, confirm that you have answered.
Yes, I have answered.
Satisfactorily to all the charges.
I have answered.
I want us to look at the first count, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. You came here and you also invited at the county assembly to answer to specific allegations, correct?
Yes.
Those specific allegations in respect to embezzlement and misuse of funds are found at 10A and B. Confirm?
Yes.
Embezzlement is A, withdrawal of county funds is B.
Yes.
Those were the only particulars of the allegations that you are invited to respond to.
These are the only particulars.
So then you could not have responded to anything outside what was framed.
I responded to the particulars of the charges.
Let me read to you. Embezzlement of county funds through the governor's sisters, Rose Kinya, Miriam Gwantai, Kenneth Gwantai, Nefat Kenywa, Edwin Morangedi. We will not go into whether they are your relatives or not because we did that in another forum. Was there any table of particulars to indicate how much money Rose Kinya received, when they received them, how they have not accounted in A and B, because that is the only place where we see the particulars. Do you see any particular place where you are told Rose received this much, Miriam received this much, Nefat received this much, Kenneth received this much, Edwin received this much. Do you see that in the particulars?
There is no specific way or amount of money that is allocated to every person that the name appears in this accusation.
What instead they did is to throw a bush of infamous extracts and told you to look at those infamous, identify where Rose is, where Miriam is, Kenneth is, Nefat, Edwin. Is that what they did? Just giving you an infamous extract?
Just an infamous extract, to do it by myself, extract maybe the amount of money for Miriam, for Rose, for Kenneth, for Nefat.
Is there any mention in A and B where the amount of 78 million is mentioned to have been embezzled? That you are able to respond specifically to what you are facing.
There is nowhere a figure of 78 million is being indicated in this, as for the Miriam, Rose, Wantai, and the rest.
Apart again from the infamous extract.
It is only the infamous extract. Nothing else.
You have also seen the basis of their complaint. It is another complaint by Salesio Mutuma, who tables his own computation and files it with EACC. Is that correct?
Salesio Mutuma is an activist. He files a report to EACC, and the county assembly uses the same report that has been taken to the EACC by Salesio to accuse me of embezzlement of county funds. Nothing else apart from the report by Salesio Mutuma.
So then, even as you're making this response, Madam Governor, it is only out of abundance of caution that you supply the Senate with what you thought was necessary.
Yes.
Did you even have the guide to lead you to where you are supposed to get materials in support of any claim?
No.
None whatsoever?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, was there any audit query or report that was generated by a competent body touching on embezzlement of county funds?
No audit report, no other report apart from an infamous report by Salesio Mutuma, an activist, to EACC.
But you have also taken time to explain what you thought the complainants might have been looking for, isn't it?
Yes.
And you have created a schedule that appears in your response. Kindly look at that. Appearing from what page?
105.
105 of our response, the small booklet.
Yes.
So then, the computation you did there, is it conclusive or is it based on what you understood to be the case from the county assembly? Because there were no particulars.
It is not conclusive.
It is not conclusive.
Yes.
The document again that you attached, was there any particular order to which you are preparing those documents, or you are basically looking at the infamous extract and giving what you thought was a suitable answer because there was no particular charge or request for you to look at any specific issue?
I tried my best to look at it so that I can give a feedback.
Thank you. So had you been properly guided by the motion, you would have done a better job in giving them very specific answers to specific queries?
Yes.
Thank you. Let us proceed to the other charge of nepotism. First of all, let me ask you about this gentleman called Nefat Kenywa, who has been said to be a brother-in-law to you. Do you know Nefat Kenywa?
No. He's an employee of county government of Meru.
He's an employee of county government of Meru. Is he married to your sister?
None of my sisters are married.
Your sisters are single. So then Nefat cannot be your brother-in-law.
No.
Edwin Mutuma, is he your nephew? Nephew rather to your husband?
No.
You know very well the relatives or rather siblings to your husband?
I met him around 4-5 months ago.
That is Edwin?
That is Edwin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's not, again...
he's not a relative.
He's not a relative. Your husband, and now that Amatit, has been accused of vilifying other leaders through a musical performance. There was a video that was played. For the sake of time, I will not ask for it to be played, but you are also present. I want you to look at the lyrics of that song. And even before you look at the lyrics, you were present.
Yes.
That song, to begin with, was sung in the Kiswahili dialect, true?
Yes.
So there was no need for it to be interpreted.
But Council, it's my prayer that we see the song so that I clear myself from that allegation.
Very well. Can we play? I could be guided where that clip is. It was a clip by... As we wait for the song, Madam Governor, we will watch it. But did your husband make reference to any elected leader?
He did not.
Did he make any reference to any other leader by name?
He did not.
What was the first gentleman saying in his song, to the best of your recollection?
That's
In
why...
fact, we have got the Kiswahili. Just read a few. At page 251 of volume 2 of the County Assembly's document. Very quickly, Madam Governor, I urge you to read. We are pressed for time.
They want, is that for me?
Yes, just read in Swahili.
They want Kawira to come and help them steal. Kawira is against it. And when Kawira refuses, they dig...
I would love you to read the Kiswahili version. The song was sung in Kiswahili version. That is the translation. Kindly read the Kiswahili version. This is also a Swahili speaking.
Kila siku wanamtafutia makosa, wanataka Kawira awasaidie kuiba. Kawira akakataa, akasema yeye hataki wizi. Wakati alipokataa, wakasema, wakaanza kumshimbia mashimo. Wanataka Kawira akule pesa, nao wanataka Kawira wakule pesa za barabara. Wanataka Kawira akubali wakule pesa ya dawa hospitali. Wanataka Kawira awasaidie kukula mali yetu. Igembe na waeleze ukweli kabisa, mpaka sasa sikilizeni kwa makini. Wanapanga pia kuchukua maisha ya Kawira. Wanapanga sasa mpaka kumuua Kawira. Lakini najua maombi yenu, huyo shetani ameshindwa katika jina la Yesu. Ati walikuwa wanasema tangu ile wakati ya impeachment ya kwanza, Kawira hajawahi kunywa chai kwa mikahawa ya Nairobi. Mara ya mwisho Kawira kunywa chai mikahawa ya Nairobi ni ile wakati ya impeachment. Na hiyo sasa ndio inafanya maadui wake wakasirike kabisa. Eti wanamtaka Kawira kuliko akuje okolea awe akienda Nairobi kule wakunywe nao chai na meza na pesa zenu. Kawira naye amekataa katakata, akasema kazi yake ni mashinani. Wenye wivu wajinyonge, wenye wivu wajinyonge.
Is there anything demeaning or targeting any leader in those lyrics?
No, nothing. No leader is being targeted or mentioned by name.
Is it true that you're facing a threat to your life, that the first gentleman in a musical performance passed that information?
It is.
Is there anything wrong in that? In your husband coming to your defense when your life is in danger?
He should come and defend the wife.
Thank you. You have been accused of particularly assigning diplomatic duties to your two sisters, unqualified sisters.
Yes.
You have made an explanation to that allegation. Can you point out where that response is?
It's in page 10.
As we peruse through, Mr. Speaker, sir,
It's page 15.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I note that my time is up. I'm seeking your indulgence for just 30 more minutes for me to wind up.
You need an extra 30 minutes?
Yes, indeed. Most humbly, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I can proceed.
Thank you. Tell us the response you have offered to the allegation that you assigned your two sisters diplomatic duties.
I was invited, courtesy call to embassy in Nairobi, that is Slovakian. While on my way, I was diverted to attend a function at the State House. I can explain without lending.
Yes, kindly proceed.
On my way, I was accompanied by the County Secretary of Meru, my personal assistant, my bodyguard, and my driver. And then on the way, there was an urgent meeting. I decided to attend the meeting first so that I can join the other team later. The county secretary went to the embassy. As I was finishing from the State House, they had already done with the meeting. So I did not assign my sister any duty. It is just because I had traveled with my personal assistant and also the bodyguard to attend the meeting.
Did you later offer an explanation as to who attended that meeting and what was discussed in your Facebook at page 94?
Yes.
You confirm that the person that attended that meeting and presided and had discussions was the county secretary?
Yes.
Thank you. Let us go to the China trip that you have been accused of sending your sisters and relatives to a tour. You got an invitation from a company?
Yes, to China.
China.
Yes.
Did that company represent itself as having affiliations with the Chinese government, to the best of your understanding?
Yes, at first, the first case, it associated itself with the national or the country of China.
The state of China.
Yes.
You had planned initially to attend that trip. Is that the position?
Yes, I am planned to attend.
But before that, tell us, how often do you travel outside the country as the governor of Meru? How many trips have you had outside the country from the date you were sworn in as the governor?
I've only traveled once.
To which country?
South Korea.
When was that?
Around 6 months ago.
What was the practice when you traveled? How do you travel? Do you travel with your team together? Do they travel in advance? What happened during your last trip to South Korea?
For this one, I sent my personal assistant, my bodyguard, and the team in advance. And then I met there later.
Okay.
Yes.
Why did you send them in advance?
For preparations and also to know exactly what I'm supposed to do and
okay,
arrange everything before I get there.
Okay. Was that the case with the China trip?
Yes, it was the case.
So who traveled to China and for what purpose did they travel?
Those who travel to China are 4 people. One is the Waziri for Health.
Yes.
And one is the external leakages acting director, my personal assistant, and my bodyguard.
Did you eventually travel to China?
No, I didn't.
You did not?
Yes.
Why did you travel to China?
When my advance team arrived to China, it was contrary to what the Chinese people and the brokers. The message that was given to our office was different because the private company or the people that came to visit Meru associated themselves with the Chinese government, and upon arrival of my team there, it was contrary to what they said. It was just a private business company interested in investing in Meru.
So the assertion that this was an opportunity for a cancer center to be established in Meru by well-wishers through a private public partnership, is that the position?
Is in the position. If at all it was a donor donating even a single item, I could be the first one to get there. But it was purely a business company interested in doing business in Meru.
You have read the affidavit of your CCM, George Gekunda.
Yes.
He explains clearly that they even discovered that the people who had invited you did not even have a physical office in China.
Yes, I've read it.
That they took them through various companies that manufacture items.
Yes.
Could not prove that they have any affiliation with any of those companies.
They did not have any.
Was it then safe for you to proceed to you?
To me, it was even though the company was offering full sponsorship. But now, going to China just because of assisting some people to come and do business in Meru, it wasn't a priority to me.
Thank you. You have been questioned why the CEC or yourself did not seek any visa clearance to China. Do you have a Chinese visa?
Yes.
Yes, you do. So there was no need for you then, for the CS to ask for a visa to be provided. You already had one.
Mm.
Thank you. The deputy governor, has also accused you of arbitrarily relocating his office from next to your office to another block, changing the locks. Let me just read specifically. Number one, he's accusing you of arbitrary reduction, suspension, and withdrawal of budgetary facilitation. Were you in any way involved in reduction and withdrawal of his budgetary facilitation?
No, and I cannot do that. In our office, we have AIE holder, who used to be the chief of staff, and he does, via other officers, facilitation to our travels, facilitation to our offices, and it has been done according to the way I know things.
In fact, yesterday during cross-examination, it was discovered that one Nefat Kenya received a lot of facilitation on behalf of the deputy governor. Is Nefat Kenya an administrator in the office of the deputy governor?
Yes, it is the deputy governor himself that suggested that Nefat Kenya to be the administrator in his office.
Thank you. You have been accused of threatening the deputy governor to inflict bodily harm against the governor. And this is in reference to one of the WhatsApp group that you said, nitafinya kieleweke. You remember that WhatsApp group, WhatsApp post?
Yes.
What were you talking about when you said nitafinya kieleweke? You were also accused, to combine with that, of mobilizing jeshi ya kumaliza deputy governor. What were you referring to when you said choma jeshi?
Specifically, council, I would like to see where exactly I have referred the kufinya kieleweke or the jeshi to my deputy governor.
So you deny making that particular
The allegation is that it's to the deputy governor.
Yes.
Where exactly have I referred to my deputy governor?
Thank you. Who then were you referring to, or what was the context?
I was referring to the kind of things going around in Meru County, the type of bullying that is going around. Of course, as a leader, you have to respond to some of the issues that goes around. Kufinya kieleweke, what's wrong with that?
Thank you. So you were not making any reference to
I was not making any reference to any particular person.
You have also been accused of forcefully breaking, entering, and ransacking
The criminal or the relevant authorities for doing such an act. I've never done that.
Thank you. Arbitrary relocation of the deputy governor's office. Is it true that there were reorganizational issues in the office of the governor that saw certain offices moved from one location to the other?
Yes, there was reorganization after we earned a big team of acting chief officers. In Meru, we have two blocks, the old block and the new one. And then the old block that has been used by the first governor, Kiraito Moronge, and partly by Honorable His Excellency Peter Munya. And that is where the deputy governor was reallocated to stay.
Thank you. Let us move on to the issue of accusing other leaders of being the 10 cartels in Meru in an event where the head of state was in attendance. Were you referring to the members of parliament? Because that is what was said yesterday.
Council, why would one suggest that I was referring to anyone when I've not mentioned one?
Who were you talking about when you said kuna makatel zaidi ya 10?
There's a certain story in Kimeru, maybe to take 1 minute to explain. one person thieves broke to his home, stole his own goat, and then there was a chief's meeting with everyone in that village. And that old man akaenda amebeba mkuki. Akasema ya kwamba katikati yenu ninaona kuna mtu ambaye ameiba ile mbuzi yangu. Just in 1 meter I will kill that person. Hakujua ni nani. Mtu mmoja akachomoka tu mara moja akaenda. That's when now the man realized who the person was. In my case, when I talked about Makatel, I did not mention anyone. I said this county will not be micromanaged by few cartels or 10 cartels and few rich people to assume that Meru is the way they want to paint it bad.
Thank you.
I did not mention anyone.
You did not mention anyone. That's
Yes.
quite important. There are these WhatsApp groups in Meru, County Admin Services, Third Government, 012. Are you the admin of these groups?
I'm not, I was added in that group.
You are added in that
Yes.
group. Is it an official WhatsApp group in Meru?
No, we don't have an official WhatsApp group in Meru County.
Did you at any moment incite or encourage any admin to remove the deputy governor from?
I don't know even the administrator, I was just handed.
Thank you. Did you encourage anyone to demean or insult?
No.
You did not. Thank you. I'll not talk about. Let me ask you this question, it's quite important. It's the issue of sending certain employees of the county on compulsory leave. You remember that issue?
Yes, I remember.
You remember that issue? Number one, are you the one who sent these people on compulsory leave?
I'm not the one.
Who did that?
The county secretary.
County secretary.
Yes.
Are you aware that they were sent on compulsory leave?
I was notified after the county secretary sent them on compulsory leave due to some allegations that were reported to EACC.
So you are not part of the decision to send these people on compulsory leave?
No.
But you made a comment on Facebook
Yes.
about that issue.
Yes.
You confirm that you have appointed certain people to take charge of the revenue board.
Again, the appointment was done same as the sending of the same or the people on compulsory leave. Mine was to show or for people to know that these people are no longer doing or acting on behalf of Meru County government, and these are the new team that is on board.
Later on, you were subject of court proceedings in a case where these people cited you as a respondent, and subsequently there were contempt of court orders issued. Why were you cited as a respondent in that matter?
By virtue of my office, not even that single matter, but almost in all matters, I'm among the third or the fourth or the seventh respondent by virtue of my office.
So does it point out to any personal responsibility, or it is normal and ordinary for parties to file cases against the office of the governor?
It is normal, especially when it touches the county government of Meru.
Indeed, Madam Governor, when you came to office, you continued defending cases that were filed against the office of the governor for actions that took place even before you got to office?
When I got to office, I met 800 and something cases in court.
Those cases were citing the governor as a respondent.
Yes.
Did they in any way communicate that you personally had a responsibility to the action that offended the person who went to court, or it is by virtue of the office?
In all those cases, there is nowhere where I was directly responsible.
Thank you. Lastly, we have an issue of appointment of the following part. But before I go there. Let us talk about the traffic marshals in Meru. You have been accused of creating this office called the traffic marshals without following due process. Did you commit that offense?
I did not appoint anyone for the traffic marshals. That was a pilot project from the Department of Public Service. Just like any other governor or leader, you are mandated or you're supposed to launch a project. But I did not participate in employing any of the traffic marshals.
Did you later seek the approval of the County Public Service Board to create this office?
The county secretary did it.
And those discussions are ongoing?
The discussions are ongoing.
Thank you.
And one council may ask, who then were the drivers of the border? We have the enforcement team and some few others that were piloting or were used to pilot the project. So we've never employed any single person to do that duty.
Thank you. You have been told that you bear the ultimate responsibility even for actions of your CECs, county chief officers, directors, drivers, your chief of staff. What is your understanding of your role as a governor of Meru County?
Of course, to provide leadership counsel, and also, even though in some ways I might be involved where I'm directly giving a direction, maybe via memo, because a government has a way of communication. But in this case, or in all these allegations before me today, none of them that I have alluded my signature, neither given a memo for the accusations that are before me.
Thank you. The very last, we have seen a lot of, and I do not wish to go deep in it, but we have seen the county assembly trying to make a big deal of some payments that were done on one day to Rose, to other members of county government. Is it that these people are being paid for forged interest? Or why is it that there is an indication of many payments done on one day? To the best of your understanding, though you may not have the technical.
In county government, Mr. Speaker and the honorable senators, we receive funds not in one bunch.
Yes.
At times, funds are delayed, and some functions have to continue, like traveling, like meetings, and in most cases, we do or they do using their own money, like traveling, and then when money gets in or lands to our accounts, then they are paid. The issue of paying 10 payments in a day might have been a delay of payments which has not been done for a month or two.
Thank you. When you travel, is money put in your account or it is deposited in the account of your PA, or it's your PA who receives it?
Since I became a governor, none of a single or no single coin has ever been deposited to my account.
How do you travel? Who then receives that money for your facilitation?
The PA.
Thank you.
The administrators.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, sir, that is all for this witness. I wish to hand her over for cross-examination. Thank you.
County Assembly, you may proceed to do your cross-examination. By way of indication, Counsel for the County Assembly, how much time do you need?
Mr. Speaker, if it finds favor with you, we request 2.5 hours.
You request?
2.5 hours. We only make this request, Mr. Speaker, based on the scope of the issues covered by the witness. They are not issues we can address in a short time. Our main witness, I think, was cross-examined for a similar amount of time. It's only fair for purposes of equality of arms.
Let's try 1.5, and then we'll gauge it from there.
The Honorable Gavana Mwangaza, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Council.
Would you agree that the cultural structure and values and attitudes of the Mount Kenya community are substantially similar, even though there may be small details of variation?
No.
So it is your case, the culture of the Ameru, Aembu, and the Gikuyu are vastly different.
Yes.
Are their languages also vastly different, or are they substantially mutually intelligible?
Different.
Are they mutually intelligible?
No.
I put it to you, Kawere, that anyone who lives in this country actually knows there isn't much difference in the cultures, values, and attitudes of those three communities. What do you say to that?
There is difference because, for example, in Meru we have Jurincheke. Do the Kikuyus have Jurincheke?
They have Kiama, and I'm sure you know even the Jurincheke is also called Kiama. It's just a difference of names. Anyway, Governor Kawira Mwangaza is the governor of Embu a man or a woman?
A woman.
To the best of your knowledge, is this woman governor being hounded out by some misogynistic male leadership?
And yes, she's here to testify. I cannot testify.
To the best of your knowledge, has the woman governor of Embu been impeached 3 times? Has she faced 3 impeachment motions in the last 1 year?
I know of one Anne Waiguru who was impeached twice.
Let's stick to Embu for now. Has the governor of Embu faced 3 impeachment motions in the last 1 year?
No.
Nakuru equally as a woman governor, right?
Yes.
It has a huge population of Mount Kenya diaspora. True or untrue?
True.
As that woman governor in Nakuru faced 3 impeachment motions in the last 1 year?
No.
Kwale as a woman governor, true or false?
True.
The people of Kwale are Bantus, just like the people of Mount Kenya, correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Has that woman governor faced 3 impeachment motions in the last 1 year?
No.
Oma Bay, which is a different cultural area, as a woman governor, correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Has she faced any impeachment motion in the last 1 year?
No.
As a matter of fact, Meru itself, as an elected woman MCA, correct or incorrect?
Correct.
To the best of your knowledge, has that woman MCA in Meru encountered any backlash from a toxic masculinity to hound her out of office?
Several times.
Have you adduced that evidence anywhere in your response?
No, because it was not part and parcel of my response.
Meru was a woman representative, correct or incorrect?
Correct.
In fact, you yourself were a woman representative of Meru for a whole 5 years.
Yes.
Did anyone try to recall you because you are a woman?
No.
Good. Let's go to, you just told Mr. Speaker, it's more common story in Meru. Tell me whether you know of this story, which is also very common in Meru, of a woman who would beat her husband, then scream, and because the society is socialized to think it is the man beating the woman, and she has locked the house, people would think it is the man who was beating the woman, while the truth was the other way around. Have you ever heard of that story?
No.
Of course, you've never heard of it, because it's not convenient. Let's agree, Governor Kawira, for argument's sake, without conceding, let's agree the MCAs are indeed acting under the influence of external people. Would that mean your sisters never received the monies we allege?
Pardon?
If we temporarily agree for argument's sake that the reason the MCAs have impeached you all these times is because of toxic masculinity and evil motives and malice and whatnot, we want, for argument's sake, in my next series of questions, to work on the assumption that that is true. If the MCAs are malicious, would that be an answer to why your sisters were receiving monies irregularly from the county?
No.
If the MCAs are intimidated or influenced, would that be an answer to the count on usurpation of statutory functions of the County Public Service Board?
No.
Indeed, Governor Kawira, the motivations of the MCAs, you will agree, are therefore irrelevant as long as there is evidence in support of the charge.
There is no support in the charge.
That's for the Senate to decide, but assuming there is evidence in support of the charge, is it your position the charge would fail because even though there is evidence, the MCAs are driven by an ulterior motive? Is that what you're inviting the Senate to do, assuming the Senate believes you're an innocent victim of evil machinations? Does that undo the evidence against you on the charges?
The charges should have evidence.
If they have the evidence, my question is, would evil intentions on the part of the MCAs undo that evidence? Would the evidence cease to exist because the MCAs are acting maliciously?
No.
The answer is?
No.
No. So you will agree with me, therefore, the case against you should be decided on the evidence, not on the motivations of the MCAs.
Yes, on the evidence.
Thank you very much. That's a very useful answer. Let's go to the complaint by Celesio. Mr. Speaker, that would be from page 1 of volume 2. You just told the Senate that the reason you did not account for the entire 78 million is because the motion only related to your sisters. Is that still your position?
Yes.
Did you read volume 2 as you read the impeachment motion?
Where is the volume?
Did you read the bundle that contains the Assembly's evidence?
The evidence is the infamous extract by Salesio.
Correct.
Yes.
In fact, the impeachment motion says the evidence is in the complaint by Salesio. Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
It would mean, therefore, the impeachment motion must be read together with the complaint by Salesio. Correct or incorrect?
Incorrect.
Can you refer to paragraph 11 of the motion? (11A), can you read it to the Senate?
Yes, I can read.
Read it for us.
87 of 68. Evidence of the governor engagement, convenience, and complicity in the proceeding. 2, gross violation of the Constitution. 3, 2, gross misconduct. 3, gross abuse of office to be found in a complaint by Duranera Salesio Mutuma to Ethics and Corruption Commission on 11th August 2023.
So you agree you are given sufficient notice that the Assembly will be relying on the complaint by Salesio in the motion itself. Correct or incorrect?
Incorrect.
Fair enough.
Incorrect.
We said it's okay, we can live with your answer. But let's go to the complaint by Salesio. Can you go to page 4, volume 2? What does it say? At 2.5?
Volume.
It refers to Kadhure Rukaria Catherine, isn't it?
Yes.
It is therefore correct that you had prior notice. There is a complaint by Salesio regarding payments to this particular person.
Kadhure Rukaria.
Did you or did you not receive this page 4, volume 2, Governor Kawira? Either you did or you did not receive it.
I want to see the charge first because the charge talks about embezzlement of funds by relatives.
Yes, we moved from the charge to the evidence where you already referred to the complaint by Salesio. The complaint has to be read in its entirety.
The author of the IFMIS report, Salesio, in the IFMIS report, we have more than 100 persons who have received the funds.
And all these 100 persons are persons working in your office, correct or incorrect?
And these 100 persons are not mentioned in the impeachment.
Fair enough, Governor. Do these 100 persons work in your office? Either they do or they don't.
I'm not aware of everyone who works in my office.
Good. But does page 17 indicate these are transactions by persons who work in your office? at the top of page 17, does it show that these are transactions by persons who work in the office?
Currently, county government of Meru, we have 6,000 employees, and I cannot know every person by name.
Governor, unfortunately, you don't have the luxury of ducking my questions. My question is, does this IFMIS indicate in black and white that these are transactions by persons working in your office?
I don't.
Either it does or it doesn't.
I don't think so.
Can you read the top? The very first item on that page 17?
Yes.
Read it to the Senate.
Vote. So small ones I can't see.
I don't mind if your assistant can read for you.
Okay.
She can read for you.
Vote 3562, Meru, Office of the Governor.
You will agree, Madam Governor, the document itself indicates it's about transactions in your office, not another office.
In my office,
Good.
from July 2022, when I
Yes.
was not the governor of Meru.
Yes, and while you were seated here, we pointed out only 12 transactions lie in the previous regime. All the others have happened when you were the governor, correct or incorrect?
And that's why, Council, you want me to know everyone who, including those who worked in the previous regime, from this document?
You won't get away from this, Madam Governor, by being clever. Can you see page 17? You confirm the transactions begin on 1st July
Yes.
when Kiraitu was the governor,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it follows like that, 1st July, and when July ends, the next entries are for 20th September 2022. Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Correct. You are the governor as at September 2022.
Yes.
It must therefore follow that for all these hundreds of transactions, all of them except the first 12 happened during your tenure as governor of Meru.
Yes.
Good. Let's go back to the complaint by Celestio. At page 4, Celestio talks of withdrawals by Kadure Rukaria Catherine. Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
And he has analyzed them, and most of them are indicated the payment description is not applicable. Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
In your understanding of government accounting and PFM, should public money be expended and the accounting description is not applicable?
Council, I'm not an accountant.
You are the governor, unfortunately, so answer my question.
As the governor of Meru, the way I understand is that after this IFMIS report, if it's a genuine one, of which I doubt, follows an audited report. Before me, if it was an audited report which clears or rectifies any mess that is in IFMIS report, then it could be a question that I could be easily able to answer.
Does the county government have access to IFMIS?
Yes.
In fact, your junior officials have credentials to IFMIS.
Yes.
Therefore, they could easily have just logged in and printed the correct IFMIS if your case is you doubt the authenticity of this one. Correct or incorrect?
I repeat again that IFMIS extract is not the final document.
That's not
that
my
can be
question,
relied.
Madam Governor. The question is, would your CEC finance, would your Chief Officer finance, Would your own chief of staff, who is the accounting officer in your office, do all these people have login credentials to IFMIS?
They have.
Good. And therefore, when the assembly asked you to present the IFMIS extract, all your officials needed was to log in, print, submit. Correct or incorrect?
There was a reply by the...
There is a reply. Answer my question. All they needed to do, if there was any reason to doubt the authenticity of this IFMIS, was to log in and print.
Council, do the assembly rely on IFMIS?
Madam Speaker, I ask that the witness answers my question. I don't want to have an altercation with her. I need your protection, Madam Speaker.
Madam Governor, just answer the question, please.
They have the right to print the...
Yes, and therefore you will acknowledge all they needed to put this matter to rest if there was no